Hey guys, Jason here from Usable Smoke Productions, and in today's video we're going to show you how you can save channel strip settings, how you can recall or load channel strip settings, how those channel strip settings can apply to individual tracks or buses like track stacks and so forth, and also as simple as this may sound, but to write yourself little reminders and notes right within Logic. So if you come up with a famous moment of brilliance and you want to remember exactly how you captured a particular sound, you can do that right from within Logic. You don't have to write it down on a piece of paper or use another app or software in order to do it. Okay, so in our last video, we were working on a tune called Shades, and we had just finished working some of the bass parts out. So let's start back there. Here's our bass part, and I'm going to go ahead so I don't forget. I'm going to solo my audio there, and we'll solo the bass part, and we'll listen to what it sounds like. Okay, I'm digging that. I think it sounds pretty good. Um, and track-wise, individually here, I recorded an amplifier, a Fender Rumble amplifier, and then I also recorded at the same time through my DI box just the clean signal from the bass as well. And you can see I don't have any individual plugins or anything like that active on either one of these. I might add those later, but this is just the sound of the bass that's coming through. Now on my bass bus, because I created a track stack, I have several plugins here that I was kind of playing around with and messing with that are all bypassed. They're all disabled right now. There's nothing happening here except for one plugin that I like. Maybe I'll review it in another video, but this is a Waves plugin called Z Noise, and I use this as a noise gate alternative. If I have any kind of like amp hiss or anything like that, room noise coming from any of my analog gear that I use, I'll often just throw this on instead of a noise gate because I think it sounds more natural and it helps to preserve the performance. So we can cover that in another video. But anyway, so yeah, I'm digging the bass sound. I really like everything about it. So while it's fresh in my head, I want to, remember all the things that I did. So let's just say on my bass bus, I really enjoy, the Z Noise plugin. Maybe I like my V Pre 73, and maybe I like my Acme Opticom plugin. All right. Well, what I can do is once I have just the perfect combination of plugins, I have, all of them tweaked to my liking. I've adjusted everything the way that I want it to, and I've got the perfect sound going. All right, so here's what I can do. I can go up here to where it says setting, okay? And I can scroll down to where it says save channel strip setting as. All right, so I can go ahead and save this, and it'll open up a window. And this is what's pretty cool about it. It automatically has folders in your channel strip settings in Logic. You've got your bus folder, instrument folder, master folder, output folder, processing, sends, tracks, all this stuff. It's going to automatically select the bus folder because it is a track stack. So remember in another video we covered how to do this. And when you create a track stack, it creates a bus for you. Okay, so it's going to save these settings right here in my bus folder. All right, so what do I want to call this? Well, since this is just a demo, you know, bus channel strip that I'm probably not going to use, I'm just going to call it demo bus. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. You'll notice that it now has titled this right up here as demo bus. okay? And I'm going to go ahead and go back to my user channel strip settings, and you'll notice that it pulls it up right here. All right, so let's just say that I want to, load a different one. I'm going to go to my Tom's ST. Well, now it's going to load what I had on another bus that I created, my channel strip settings for this particular bus. And you could recall this for anything, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just go back to my demo bus, and you'll see that it loads it right up, including the ones that were active before, okay? So this is pretty cool. Um, if you make a mistake or anything like that, you can always click undo. Okay, I don't want to change my channel strip setting. I want to leave it the way it was. Okay, so everything should be good. Remember, the undo button is your friend, but this shows you that you can save uh, uh, channel strip settings in your bus or your track stack. All right, now let's just pretend that I really like my individual track settings here. Okay, I'm really digging, this particular sound. Well, I can do the same thing, go through the same process. I can go save channel strip setting as, and because Logic is super smart, it knows you're saving a track, so it's going to go to my track settings here, or my track folder rather, and I'm just going to go demo track bus. Oops, not bus. There we go. Save that, and here we go. It's got it pulled up right here. Okay, so again, when I load it up, it's going to have other things, that are saved here that I've worked with before. Let's just say my Tom 12-inch, that I've got my noise gate, my EQ that I use for that particular drum. But because this is my bass track, whoops, I don't want to load that up. I'm going to go back to my demo track bus. And there we have it. We're back to where we were. Okay. Um, now, again, you maybe won't be using if you have an issue where you accidentally, save something, or they're starting to clutter up, if I go to this track, which has got nothing on it, and I want to load something up, it's going to have a bunch of the ones that I have created, but it's also going to have ones that are potentially, like if you download some plugins and it comes with some presets and things like that, it'll go ahead and you'll be able to see them here. Likewise, if you go down to where it says legacy, you can actually pull up some uh, presets for tracks and buses that Logic has created, or GarageBand for that matter. Okay, so if I'm wanting to try out one, if I'm not ready to create my own, I want to try one that's already been created for me, I can go ahead and go to setting, legacy, and let's see, this is bass. So what do we have for bass? All different kinds of options here. Okay, so maybe I want to try this. This is probably going to sound really weird, but let's just try this wah filter one. Okay, so you'll see it loads one up right here. Let's hear what this actually sounds like. Pretty weird. Okay, so I don't really like that. I'm not going to use it. So I can, of course, go back to my demo track bus, or I can go to my previous channel strip setting and it'll just bring me, oh, look at that. It actually brings you back to the previous one in this folder. Okay, so it went from wah filter to trashy distortion. Let's try that just for fun. Yeah, maybe for some. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just go back to my demo track bus because I didn't really have anything on there. Okay, there we go. All right, so those are a couple easy ways that you can save channel strip settings, recall save channel strip settings, load presets and all of that. Just for fun, let's look at my bass bus here, and we'll see what they've got for options here. Okay, so we got uh, drums and percussion, voice, acoustic guitar, studio instruments, performance patches. You got all different kinds of ones here that you can look at. Here's electric guitar and bass. So they have, buses here that you can apply, okay, which is pretty cool. All right. Now, this may seem really super basic, but there's another thing that you can do. Again, if you have one of those amazing moments of brilliance and you want to be able to repeat this on another song, or you just want to kind of go back to some of your old projects and say, man, I really like what I did there with the bass part, but I just can't remember exactly what I did. Well, here's a really great, useful, and easy way you can do that. On the upper right side of your screen, next to your list editor and your browsers and loop browsers, there's a Notepad option. Okay, so you click on that, and it's going to give you the option of project or track. Basically, if I select project, and I have to click on edit before it'll allow me to type anything in. So if I click on edit and I just type this in and then click done, I can go on any track in this project and it's going to recall that information for me. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this. Okay. Now if I go to track, then what is going to happen? I go to edit and I just type in, click done. I won't be able to see that on any other track except for the one that I typed it in. Okay? Now, I'm not going to be typing random, F, H's, and G's and all that stuff. I'm going to be typing useful, practical things. So, for example, what do I really, really want to remember about how I did this bass stuff here? All right, so I'm going to go to my track stack just because I don't need to recall, all my tracks. In fact, when I'm finished with a project, usually what I do is I close up all my track stacks like this, and this way it's much easier for me to navigate through everything. Okay, I'll probably minimize everything and have everything all in a big view like this, right? So if I really like the bass sound, I'll go to my bass track here, I'll go to my Notepad, and I'll go to track, and I'll start typing away. So what do I want to remember about this particular uh, bass track? Well, the first thing that I want to remember is I used my GNL JB, that's my jazz style bass, okay? And what I did, is I went into my direct box, okay? And from there, I split the signal, and the split basically was 1 to interface and 2 to my pedal board. Okay, and my pedal board, I used my Donner compressor pedal, and I had it set to normal, and I used my fuzz pedal, and I had that set to, there's a scoop and there's a fat function, so I had it set to fat and no octave, because there's also an octave option. And I used my noise gate pedal. Okay, and yeah, that's about it. And then from there, um, I went pedal board to Fender Rumble 25. And then from there, um, I used, what mic did I use there? I used my Pile bass drum mic. And from there, I went to the interface. Okay, so this will give me a little bit of recall. You know, like if I come up with something really super cool, I'm like, oh man, I really love that sound, but I can't remember what I did. You can type it in right here, and recall that information very quickly. So if I wanted to remember, I'd say, okay, I used my GNL jazz bass, all right, and then I went into my direct box and I split the signal there, and my first signal went right into my interface, okay. Um, I probably want to add that it was just a clean bass signal to interface, okay, and then two, I went into my pedal board. And then I used my Donner compressor, I used my fuzz pedal, noise gate, and then I went from my pedal board into the amp, and then I mic'd it with my Pile bass drum mic. And then from that mic, I went into the interface. And that's it. Okay, now I might also want to take note of if I'm really wanting to reproduce that sound on something else, I could type in on my, interface. I had gain set at 50% for both channel 1 and 2. Um, and that will, hopefully give me the sound, give me the information that I want in order to reproduce that sound. Okay, so there it is forever. It'll be saved to this project, and taking notes as you go if you make a good discovery is always helpful if you want to reproduce that in some way. Okay, so again, saving channel strips, recalling saved channel strips, loading preset channel strips, using those for tracks as well as for buses, and just using the Notepad app right from within Logic are all great ways to recall those magical settings and sounds that you're able to come up with that for some reason, maybe you forget how you got it, or it's been a while since you've, used Logic or something, and it'll hopefully speed things along for you. All right. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If so, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, happy music making. It's actually New Year's Eve, so happy New Year's to everybody who might be watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.